27 years old.
Nice.
And I got introduced to Drew and actually cut a deal for equity. And we grew a business from 4 people to 4,000 over 17 years, basically a startup, and ended up building the largest headwear manufacturing facility in Shenzhen, China. So that's a 17-year whirlwind, and that's probably time you and I can spend over dinner sometime, and I'll tell you that.
That's great. That's great to know. Oh, that's awesome. So I used to watch Drew all the time. I thought the guy's fantastic to watch. I didn't realize he's a savvy businessman as well.
Yeah, he's a really good human being, great guy.
So you got involved with Drew, and you started an apparel business, and a successful apparel business.
Right, and from there, when I was exiting that business, I made an investment in a few companies, and one of those companies was a company called Javolution Coffee Company, which is where my ties are to coffee. So I was looking for a change, and I made some investments, and I invested in that particular company. And when I exited on the exit strategy, when we took Drew Pearson public, I actually left and became the CEO of Javolution Coffee Company. So from investor to CEO, and that company was really somewhat of a startup company, and ended up taking that public in 2009 on a self-filing, self-registration statement, which is very difficult to do these days. And that's really the bridge that gets us to longevity, because the product line that Javolution had was a product called JavaFit, and was the blending of coffee with supplements, which I thought was a really cool idea, kind of like what Vitamin Water was doing at the time.
You did with coffee.
The second most consumed beverage in the world, and here we go with supplements. This would be a really cool idea. So we entered into that business and realized that we didn't have the capital structure to take it retail, so we decided we were either going to go infomercial or network marketing. And we chose the network marketing path, and actually was going pretty well. We had bought our coffee roaster, and it was going pretty decent. But after a couple of years, I realized I just didn't know enough about this space, and I needed to align myself with people that were smarter than me and had more experience, at least on the direct selling side or network side. And I got introduced to Steve Wallach, the Wallach family. And fortunately for me, they were looking to get into to be public. They wanted to be able to share stock with their distributors through something that we had implemented at Javolution, which was a stock option program. And they thought that was a pretty novel idea and would be a great way to share ownership with their large distributor base. And it so happened that they wanted to get into the coffee business. So it was kind of this perfect storm. So I met Steve and Dr. Wallach and Michelle and the whole team over there. And eventually in July of 2011, we merged our businesses together. And that's how Longevity became a public company.
I never knew that story. Now, how difficult was it to make coffee taste as delicious as JavaFit and include supplements? Was that a tricky kind of process, or did you have anything to do with that?
Yeah, actually, I was involved in that. I mean, it was started before me as more as an investor, but we really fine-tuned it. And the key really is to really make it work, you have to start with the best base coffee. So JavaFit's regular coffee is probably the best coffee you'll ever drink anywhere. So you have to start with that, and then you have to work really, really hard to find the right supplement mix, if you will, to blend it to make it taste good. And I think we've accomplished that pretty well.
Now, I'm not a coffee drinker, so forgive me for asking this, but when you use the JavaFit, when you drink JavaFit, do the nutrients, the vitamins, and the minerals in the JavaFit, can you drink more coffee without getting the buzz kind of thing, or do you not get a buzz, or do you get a better buzz, or how does that work? How does it affect the coffee effect? How do the nutrients change the coffee effect?
It really, the coffee effect is the same coffee effect that you would get drinking a regular cup of coffee. In fact, it's pretty much the same amount of caffeine. But on our energy coffee, which essentially is coffee blended with green tea extract, it's kind of interesting. You get the lift, if you will, from coffee, but then you get the sustainability or without the crash, if you will, from the green tea. So that's a coffee that people seem to enjoy.
And how many different JavaFits are there in the line that we have?
There's a diet, an energy, and a mushroom coffee, which has the 14 beneficial mushrooms, which we call Java Impact. It's really cool coffee, actually.
And it doesn't affect the flavor. None of these things affect the flavor, change the flavor?
There's a different flavor, for sure. And then, of course, we have all of our complete line of regular coffees, and then we have the Be the Change coffee, which is in whole bean. And And, our coffee, I think you probably know, we own our own plantations that we just acquired this year in Nicaragua. So, we're talking rainforest certified, fair trade, organic coffee. So our regular coffees are fantastic as well.
So this horizontal integration that Youngevity's involved with, where they own different aspects of the manufacturing process and the ingredient process, et cetera, is that unique? Or is that singular in the world of multi-level? I haven't heard of that. Or am I missing something?
It in coffee, it certainly is. It's not really unique. The really successful companies, the one that reach the billion-dollar milestones, actually have a vertical integration where they own more and more of their own manufacturing. And that's something that is going to be in the cards as we launch our program to become more and more successful. Our core 90 for Life product, as an example, is a product that I would like to see, and I know Steve Wallach would as well, one day that we would manufacture that in our own facility. So I think the larger you get, the more you can become vertical. By nature of our merger that we were already in the coffee business, we just were able to grab the benefits of vertical integration because of that particular set of circumstances. So now we have a true field-to-cup situation where we have coffee we're growing on our own plantations in Nicaragua. We're processing in our own processing plants. We have an 18-acre facility there. We're exporting it to our roasting operation in Miami, which has 50,000 square feet, and then we're private labeling that to Carnival Cruise Lines. We have our own brands, and of course, we have a vertical play into, because our coffee roasting operation is completely owned. It's a wholly owned subsidiary of Youngevity, so it makes all of the Youngevity coffee. So there's that vertical play, and it's pretty exciting.
That is super exciting. Well, that'll lead us to our next topic. I want to talk about some of the financial things that are going on with Youngevity when we come back from our break. We're talking to Dave Brisky, CFO of Youngevity. Hopefully we'll have Dave on a regular basis, and we're going to talk a little of the money aspects, some of the exciting stuff that's going on from a financial perspective with Youngevity when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side.
The average family has 3 days of food in their pantry. Don't get caught with your pantry down this winter. Get 3 weeks of food free with your purchase of a 3-month supply of Go Foods now through November 30th. Call 800-648-9753 or order online at www.storefoodnow.com. That's 800-648-9753 or www.storefoodnow.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
So we decided to upgrade the look of our home.
Improve the curb appeal.
We decided to add the look of stone to the exterior.
We really like the stacked stone look.
Yeah, but when I checked into the price, it was ridiculous. No way could we afford it.
Then a friend told me about Genstone. Genstone.
Genstone comes in lightweight panels made of polyurethane. They've actually engineered the hassle out of installation. No mortar, no mesh. It was easy. Even I could do it.
We just screwed the panels to the wall and it looks like stone. I mean, it really looks like stone.
Yeah, from the box to the wall in minutes.
We love the look of our home now.
And Genstone is durable, comes with a 25-year warranty, and offers additional R value for insulation.
If you want the look of stone at a price you can afford, call Genstone
at 855-955-STONE.
Trust me, you'll save money.
And you'll love the look.
855-955-STONE. That's 855-955-7866.
This holiday season, give the gift that keeps on giving, an in-home freeze dryer from Harvest Right. With your very own freeze dryer, you'll be able to freeze dry the food your family loves. Because we live in uncertain, difficult times, what better way to show your love for your family than to buy them a gift that helps them preserve food they can use now or in 25 years. Go to harvestright.com and find out how you can get your in-home freeze dryer. Layaway is available. That's harvestright.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, There's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX or my website, danpilla.com.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
A little right, a little left, but always independent-minded. The Genesis Communications Network, GCN.
Okay, we are back on the bright side talking to CFO of Longevity, Dave Brisky. Talked a little bit about how Dave got involved with the company in Jovolution Coffee. Dave, tell us a little bit about what's going on currently with the third quarter just ended. So tell us a little bit about what's going on financially with Longevity.
Yeah, and we're pretty proud of our performance here, and I appreciate the opportunity to get on your program, and I'm kind of making the rounds because it's really time to start telling the longevity story to Wall Street. We're a public company, and the company's really starting to really be recognized in the direct selling world, but hasn't really the story hasn't been told well enough to Wall Street, and so it's a great opportunity to be able to do this. Our third quarter was really phenomenal. We ended up growing 77% over Q3 of last year. So those are pretty exciting numbers, but what's more exciting, Ben, is in the last 4 quarters, our growth has been pretty impressive. In fact, the quarterly sales for the last 4 quarters, starting from Q4 of last year, was $22 million. The next quarter we did $26 million. Then Q2 of this year, we did $32 million. Wow. And this last quarter, we did $37.5 million in sales. So, the company obviously is doing something right in terms of generating those revenues.
Dave, $22 million to $37 million in a year?
In a year, yeah, on a Q to Q to Q to Q basis, which is pretty impressive.
That's not nearly double. That's crazy. Is that right?
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, it is. Yeah. On an annualized basis, now we're looking at a $160 million business annualized. And last year's numbers in 2013, we did $85 million. So, the company is really doing some things right, and the field leadership at Longevity is taking the word to the streets, and the coffee business. Inside of those numbers, keep in mind, because it is a wholly owned subsidiary, so these are consolidated numbers. The coffee business in that Q3 number grew 218% over last year. And the direct selling business grew 62%. So both ends of the company are growing at a very, very nice pace.
What's an average number for the business, for the direct selling business in general?
Well, it really depends, and it's a difficult question to answer. But I think most companies, if they were growing 10% Q over Q, they'd be pretty happy.
Wow, that is amazing. What do you attribute it to? Not as a CFO guy, not as a business guy, but just as a consumer, as a regular layperson. What do you attribute this to?
You know what, Ben? I attribute it to our business model is starting to catch on. It's a very, very unique business model that Longevity has. You see a lot of competition out there that has 2 or 3 products, and it's easy to get the field to just be learned, if you will, on those 2 or 3 products. here at Longevity, we have 1,000 products. So a lot of people say, how can you try to do it that way? But in our minds, Steve Wallach, myself, and Bill, that we talk about the vision of Longevity. It's to build a company that always has the best products available. We provide our field transfer buying, if you will. We expect it to be your own mall to shop from. That type of model is a little more complicated, but we look at it as a model for the